Welcome to our deep dive into the world of AI. We're going to be talking about how it's already transforming industries and what that means for all of us.
It's amazing how fast things are changing, right?
Right. Like seriously, just a few years ago, only 17% of business leaders felt like they understood AI.
Oh, wow.
That stat is straight from a report by the Brookings Institution, which is one of our sources for this deep dive.
That's crazy considering how much we hear about AI these days.
I know, right? And for our second source, we've got an article from Built In, which goes deep into how AI could actually reshape the whole future, like completely.
Exciting stuff.
Totally. So are you ready to cut through all the hype and figure out how AI is already changing the game?
Absolutely, let's do it. And it's really important to remember that AI isn't just some futuristic concept, like something out of a movie.
Yeah, true.
It's already having a huge impact on so many parts of our lives.
Oh yeah,
even if we don't always realize it.
Totally. Think about it. Those personalized recommendations you get on Spotify or Netflix, or how your phone's GPS knows how to get you around traffic.
Oh, yeah.
That's AI doing its thing.
Exactly.
But to really understand, the real impact of AI, we need to understand what makes it so different from normal software.
Right. It's not just a simple program.
Right.
It can actually learn and adapt and make decisions.
Oh, wow.
So the Brookings report, they highlight these 3 core qualities of AI.
Okay.
Intentionality, intelligence, and adaptability.
So it's not just following instructions, it's more like it's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about following pre-programmed instructions.
Oh, wow.
AI systems can actually make decisions based on real-time data, so they're constantly analyzing what's happening and figuring out the best course of action.
So they're learning from what's going on around them.
Yes, they can learn from patterns in data, and you know what? They can even spot trends that we humans might completely miss.
So they're picking up on things that we don't even notice.
And here's the really cool part. They evolve over time.
What? Evolve? It's like they're alive or something.
In a way, yeah.
Wow.
Think of it like this. A traditional computer program is like a cookbook.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a set recipe, and it follows those instructions to make a specific dish.
Okay.
AI, though, is more like a chef.
It's a chef.
Yeah. They can take those same basic ingredients, learn from experience, and adapt the recipe.
Oh, so they're not just stuck with the same old thing.
Right. They can create something entirely new.
That's pretty awesome. But how is all of this thinking software actually working in the real world? Give me some examples.
Sure. Let's start with finance, okay?
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how stock prices can fluctuate wildly in just seconds?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of times, that's because of high-frequency trading.
High-frequency trading.
Yeah, and in high-frequency trading, AI-powered systems are making lightning-fast decisions to buy or sell stocks.
So it's like AI is playing the stock market at warp speed.
Exactly. They use these complex algorithms to analyze market data and make trades in fractions of a second.
Wow. Does that mean human traders are out of a job?
Not necessarily. It's more like AI is giving them a superpower boost.
A superpower boost.
Yeah. AI can process huge amounts of data in real time.
So having an extra brain.
Totally. They can spot trends and opportunities that human traders might miss because there's just too much information for a person to handle all at once.
Right. Humans can't process information that fast.
Exactly.
So AI is like a super-powered tool for traders.
Right. But it's still the human expertise that guides the overall strategy.
Got it. So AI helps them make faster and smarter decisions.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And this kind of AI-driven automation is happening everywhere, not just in finance.
Oh, I bet.
It's also transforming national security, for instance.
Okay, how so?
Well, AI is being used to sort through massive amounts of data to identify potential threats.
So it's like having a million security guards all watching at once.
Yeah, it's like having an army of analysts constantly monitoring for any signs of danger.
Wow.
And it's helping security agencies stay one step ahead of those who might want to cause harm.
That's amazing. It sounds like something straight out of a spy movie.
It kind of is. And then there's healthcare. AI is revolutionizing how we diagnose and treat diseases.
The Brookings report talks about how AI can detect things like lymph nodes in CT scans way faster than humans can.
Yeah, and they also talk about AI being able to predict congestive heart failure, which could literally save lives.
That's incredible.
Imagine the possibilities for personalized medicine, where treatments are tailored to your specific needs.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
AI could analyze your genetic makeup, your lifestyle, all of your medical history.
And come up with a custom plan just for you.
Exactly. It could be so much more effective than the traditional one-size-fits-all approach we have now.
That's really exciting.
It is. It seems like AI could make healthcare more efficient, more accurate, and way more personalized.
It does. But are there any downsides? Potential problems we need to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a great question because, like any powerful tool, AI can be used for good or bad.
Right. It depends on who's using it and for what purpose.
Exactly. And one area where AI is raising some ethical questions is in criminal justice.
The Brookings report talked about these AI-powered risk assessment tools, right?
Yeah, the ones that are used to predict who is likely to commit a crime in the future.
That sounds a little bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, while these tools can be helpful in some ways, like identifying high-risk individuals,
Okay.
there are definitely concerns about potential bias.
Yeah, because AI is trained on data, right? And if that data is biased,
Exactly. Then the AI system will also be biased.
and that could lead to some really unfair outcomes.
Exactly. So we need to be very careful about how these AI systems are developed and used.
Right. We need to make sure that AI is not making existing inequalities even worse.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of things that need careful consideration, let's talk about transportation.
Okay, you mean like self-driving cars?
Exactly.
The Brookings report talks about companies like Uber and Volvo investing heavily in this technology.
Yeah, they're betting big on it, and they're using some seriously cool tech to make it happen, like LiDAR, which is basically a laser system that creates a 3D map of the environment.
So the car can see where it's going.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
So self-driving cars are relying on all this advanced tech, like LiDAR, high-performance computing, and complex algorithms.
Right, and it all works together to allow the car to perceive its surroundings and make decisions in real time, which is amazing when you think about it.
It is, but the report also mentioned that fatal accident involving an Uber self-driving car back in 2018.
Right, and that was a really tragic reminder that even with all this advanced technology, there are still risks.
Absolutely. And we need to be really careful about safety when it comes to self-driving cars.
Couldn't agree more, but let's move on to something a little more positive.
Okay.
How about how AI is making our cities smarter?
Oh yeah, the Brookings report talked about how Cincinnati is using AI to optimize emergency responses.
Exactly. They're using AI to make things like ambulance dispatch and firefighting more efficient.
That's so important. Every second counts in those situations.
I know, right? AI can analyze data on traffic patterns, incident locations, and available resources.
To get help where it's needed as fast as possible.
Exactly. It's a great example of how AI can be used to improve public safety and make our cities better places to live.
So we've talked about how AI is changing finance, national security, healthcare, transportation, even our cities.
It's really impacting every aspect of our lives.
And this is just the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even touched on what the future holds for AI, which is where our second source comes in.
I know. Are you ready to dive into the future?
Let's do it. This is where things get really interesting. This built-in article is like, whoa, it paints this crazy picture of what's coming with AI, like it's going to be wild.
Yeah, it really does, right?
Yeah, they talk about AI taking over all these routine tasks that we do every day.
Right, things like scheduling meetings and analyzing data.
All that boring stuff.
Yeah, and imagine if AI could handle all of that for us. Like, it would free up so much time for humans to focus on the things we're really good at.
Like being creative and strategic and solving complex problems, that kind of thing.
Exactly. We could focus on the big picture instead of getting bogged down in all the little details.
That sounds amazing, but okay, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Jobs.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? What happens to jobs when AI can do so much of the work that humans currently do?
I mean, I'm all for AI making our lives easier.
Right.
But I don't want people to lose their livelihoods because of it.
It's a valid concern, and it's something that everyone is thinking about.
So what do you think? Is AI going to take all our jobs?
Well, it's not that simple. It's not just a black and white situation.
Okay, so tell me more.
It's true that some jobs will definitely be automated as AI becomes more sophisticated.
Like what kind of jobs?
Well, think about jobs that involve a lot of repetitive tasks, data entry, things like that.
Okay, so those jobs might be at risk.
Yeah, but here's the thing. AI will also create new jobs. That's the other side of the coin.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, because we'll need people to design and develop and maintain these AI systems, right? AI can't just build itself.
Right. So there will be new jobs in the tech sector.
Exactly. And not just in tech, we'll also need people who can work alongside AI, using it as a tool to enhance their own work.
Like a doctor using AI to diagnose patients more accurately.
Yeah, exactly. Or an architect using AI to design more sustainable buildings.
So it's more about adaptation than replacement, right? We need to learn new skills and figure out how to work with AI rather than being afraid of it.
Exactly. It's all about embracing the change and seeing the opportunity in it.
That makes sense. So instead of focusing on the jobs that might be lost, we should be thinking about the new jobs that will be created and the skills we need to thrive in this new world.
And here's the key. We need to focus on developing the skills that are uniquely human, the things that AI can't replicate.
Okay, like what kind of skills?
Things like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence, all those things that make us human.
Those are the things that will set us apart from machines.
Exactly, and those skills will be even more valuable in the future.
That's a good point. The article also brought up something else that's been on my mind a lot lately. Data privacy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, AI needs tons of data to learn and get better.
Right, huge amounts of data.
But where's all that data coming from? And what's happening to all of our personal information? It's a little bit scary, to be honest.
It is, and something we all need to be more aware of.
Yeah, because AI is getting more and more integrated into our lives.
Right, it's everywhere.
And we're generating more data than ever before.
Exactly. So it raises some really important questions about who has access to that data, how it's being used, and what's being done to protect our privacy.
I definitely don't want my personal data ending up in the wrong hands.
Nobody does, and that's why there's this growing push for regulations around data privacy and AI.
The article mentions that the FTC is actually investigating OpenAI.
Yeah, and the Biden administration has this AI Bill of Rights.
So it seems like governments are starting to pay attention to this issue, which is good.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to balance the amazing potential of AI with the need to protect individual rights.
Right, because we want to benefit from AI without sacrificing our privacy.
Exactly, it's a delicate balance.
And speaking of needing some ground rules, the article also talks about increased regulation in general for AI.
Oh yeah, that's definitely coming.
They specifically mentioned those legal battles over generative AI, like the copyright lawsuits against OpenAI.
Yeah, and those cases are just the tip of the iceberg.
So basically, there's a lot of uncertainty about how existing laws apply to this whole new world of AI.
It's like we're in uncharted territory.
And as AI gets more and more powerful, we're going to need some clear guidelines and regulations to make sure it's used responsibly.
Absolutely. We need to make sure we're steering this ship in the right direction.
Okay, so regulations are important, but the article also talks about this really wild concept, the compressed 21st century.
Oh, yeah, that's a mind-blowing idea.
What is that exactly? Is it like time travel or something?
Well, not exactly time travel, but it's almost as crazy.
Okay, tell me more.
Basically, the author's saying that AI is so powerful that it could drastically speed up the pace of innovation.
Like how fast are we talking?
Think decades worth of scientific breakthroughs happening in just a few years.
Whoa, that's insane.
Imagine if we could cure cancer in the next 5 years instead of waiting 50 years.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, that's the kind of potential we're talking about.
So AI could be the key to solving some of the world's biggest problems.
And it could do it way faster than we ever thought possible.
But that also means that the world is going to change even faster than it already is.
Exactly. It's like everything is going to be on fast forward.
It's exciting, but also a little bit terrifying.
I know, it's a lot to process, but the author raises a really important question.
What's that?
If we have the power to accelerate innovation like this, what should we prioritize?
Oh, wow, that's a good question.
What are the most pressing problems that we want AI to help us solve?
It's like we have this incredible tool at our disposal, but we need to decide how to use it wisely.
And that's a decision we need to make together.
It's a big responsibility for sure.
So I want to ask you, if you could ask AI to solve any problem in the world, what would it be?
That's a tough one. There's so many problems that need solving.
I know, but if you had to choose just one.
What would make the biggest difference in your life, in your community, in the world as a whole? It's something to really think about.
Yeah, it really makes you think, like what would I change if I had the power,
It's a big question for sure.
And, that with all this talk about a compressed 21st century.
Right.
It's a bit overwhelming, to be honest.
Yeah, I get that. It's like, how do we even prepare for that kind of rapid change?
Exactly. It's like we're already struggling to keep up with technology as it is, you know?
I know what you mean. It feels like everything is moving so fast.
It is.
But I think the key is to just stay curious,
Sure.
right? And be open to new ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to be willing to adapt and learn new things.
So continuous learning is going to be even more important in the future.
Oh, for sure, especially with AI taking over more routine tasks.
It's like we have to focus on what makes us human. You know, the things that AI can't do.
Exactly. Things like critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence.
All the stuff that makes us unique.
Right. And those skills are going to be super valuable as AI becomes more advanced.
That's a good point. But, you know, as AI gets more powerful, it also raises some big ethical questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, how do we make sure it's used for good and not for harm?
Exactly. That's what keeps me up at night sometimes.
It's a question that everyone's grappling with right now, you know, researchers, policymakers, and just society in general.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
I think so.
AI has the potential to do so much good in the world,
It really does.
but it could also be misused, you know?
It's up to us to make sure it's used responsibly.
So what can we do as individuals?
Yeah.
It all feels so big and complex.
Well, I think the first step is just to stay informed.
Okay, so learn as much as we can about AI.
Exactly. The more you understand about it, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this changing world.
Right, because knowledge is power.
And there are so many resources out there these days, you know, books, articles, podcasts, documentaries.
Yeah, there's no excuse for not being informed.
And don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, the more we talk about AI, the better we'll be able to understand its implications.
And shape its development.
Exactly. We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential risks and benefits.
It's like we're all on this journey together, figuring it out as we go.
I think that's a great way to look at it. It's a collaborative effort.
And it's exciting in a way. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we're on the cusp of something truly transformative.
I think so too. It's
Yeah.
a really interesting time to be alive.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of AI.
Hasn't it been fascinating?
It has, we've covered so much ground.
We've talked about its impact on everything from finance to healthcare to transportation.
And we've explored some of the big questions about its future.
I hope this has given you a lot to think about.
Me too. And remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation.
The world of AI is constantly evolving, so keep learning, keep questioning.
And keep diving deep.
That's the key.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time for another fascinating exploration of a topic that's shaping our world. Until then, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.